First published in 1908, Chronicles of the Crusades comprises two sections authored by French writers Lord Jean de Joinville and Geoffrey de Villehardouin. Split into separate narratives, the book delves into the Fourth Crusade by Villehardouin and the Seventh Crusade by Joinville. Both authors, esteemed noblemen of the 13th century, provide first-hand insights into the Crusaders' endeavors to seize Jerusalem. Villehardouin's account portrays the consequences of a misguided, self-serving mission, while Joinville's recollections offer a more optimistic view, highlighting the virtues of kindness, generosity, and King Louis IX's wisdom in reshaping the world. Despite their differing perspectives, both narratives serve as cautionary tales, underscoring humanity's fallibility amidst conflict. The first part, titled The Conquest of Constantinople, written in third person by Geoffrey de Villehardouin, a respected French warrior and pivotal figure in the Fourth Crusade, illustrates the perils of diversion and short-term strategies. Beginning in 1198, Villehardouin reveals that the original objective of the Fourth Crusade was Egypt. However, the envoys redirect the fleet to Venice, Italy, to gather supplies and assistance. Villehardouin, one of the key envoys, acknowledges his role in the ensuing failures, particularly the gross underestimation of required resources and the inadequate funding for a mission far from their intended target. To fund their expedition, Villehardouin and his comrades resort to various endeavors, including seizing the port of Corfu, Greece, in 1203 and extracting payment from the emperor after occupying Andros. However, a portion of the troops found themselves in Turkey. Rather than plundering the town as instructed, they opt to safeguard the area and advocate for peace. Subsequently, the fleet arrives in Constantinople, docking at the port of Scutari. Here, the Crusaders encounter Emperor Alexius, who had imprisoned Isaac and Prince Alexius. The prince proposes a lucrative offer to the Crusaders. In exchange for overthrowing his villainous uncle, Alexius III, he promises them wealth, riches, and support for their mission. Desiring to reclaim his father's throne, which had been usurped by the emperor, the prince strikes a deal with the Crusaders. However, when the prince fails to fulfill his financial promises and is subsequently murdered, the Greeks revolt and select a new emperor. In response, the Crusaders launch an assault on the city to retrieve the funds promised by the prince. Following the turmoil, a new regime assumes power, ruling for the next 6 decades. This conquest marks the culmination of the sack of Byzantium, a brutal attack on the largest Christian city in the world. Subsequently, the Crusaders divide the Byzantine Empire amongst themselves. Throughout these events, Villehardouin remains at the forefront, providing a straightforward and concise account of how the Fourth Crusade deviated from its original course to drastically alter history. Conversely, the second part of the book, authored by French nobleman Jean de Joinville, bears the title, The Life of St. Louis. Joinville's narrative adopts a more casual and anecdotal style, compared to Villehardouin's. He begins by elucidating his motive for writing the book, highlighting his portrayal of his personal friend King Louis IX, intended to support Louis's canonization by the Catholic Church. Joinville's account serves as an open hagiography of King Louis IX's life, both preceding and during the Seventh Crusade, 1248 to 1254. Joinville opens by illustrating numerous instances of Louis's selfless nature, recounting how he endangered himself to rescue others. Throughout the book, Joinville highlights Louis's wisdom and compassion, detailing his rule in France, but primarily focusing on the events of the Seventh Crusade. Once again, the objective is to seize Egypt. However, the treacherous Nile River poses significant navigational challenges for the ships, leaving Louis and his men ill-equipped for the journey. Captured by the Egyptians, the Crusaders negotiate a ransom for King Louis IX. Owing to his esteemed status as a knight and devout Christian, Louis is permitted to remain in Acre, where he governs effectively for several years solely on merit. Joinville serves in Louis's retinue for 4 years, documenting their trials and successes. Louis's crusade aids the defense of Jerusalem against Turkish and other adversaries, allowing the city's inhabitants to fortify their positions and safeguard their territory. Despite the mission's strategic failure, King Louis IX departs the Holy Land, carrying his experiences back to France. Preparing for a potential English invasion, Louis pledges to transform his kingdom into a bastion of egalitarian justice. Throughout this journey, Joinville provides a first-hand account, detailing Louis's saintly deeds. Canonized in 1297, King Louis IX's life becomes a testament to virtue and resilience in the face of adversity. While the conquest of Constantinople and the life of St. Louis present contrasting narratives, both underscore humanity's fallibility amidst the chaos of war. De Villehardouin's narrative starkly recalls the Fourth Crusade's misguided campaign, which precipitated the downfall of the Byzantine Empire. In contrast, Joinville's personal testimony highlights the saintly attributes and endeavors of King Louis IX, particularly during the Seventh Crusade. Despite the failure to conquer Egypt once again, Louis's experiences shape his rule, marked by benevolent governance upon his return to France. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.